Part 2, 6 Ways to Make People Like You. Chapter 1, Become genuinely interested in other people. Who is universally loved as friendly and approachable? A dog. They're always excited to see you and seem like you're the most important thing in their world. Showing interest in other people makes them feel important. All of us like people who admire us. People aren't interested in you or me, they're interested in themselves every day for their entire life. When you see a group photo, whose face do you look at first? Remember, you make friends much more easily by being interested in them than by trying to get them interested in you. Ask people about their background and their goals. Remember problems people are having, and when you come across a solution, share it with the person. Go out of your way to talk to people who are beneath your level, employees who don't report to you, service people, etc. And for people above your level, express a genuine interest in them, their work, and their advice. They feel important when they can pass on the secrets of their success. Chapter 2, Smile. A smile says, "I like you. You make me happy. I'm glad to see you." It's a message of goodwill. Once upon a time, a New York stockbroker by the name of William B. Steinhardt decided to try something new on the author's advice. Previously, a notorious grouch who rarely smiled in his personal or professional life, Steinhardt committed to simply smiling more by giving himself a pep talk in the mirror the morning his experiment began. He began the day by greeting his wife with a smile, then smiling at the doorman of his building, then the cashier at the subway booth, then the traders on the trading floor, and his colleagues in the office. The result? People began smiling back. At home, Steinhardt said that there had been more happiness in the first 2 months of the experiment than in the entire year before it. What's more, he found that at work, complaints and grievances were easier to deal with, winning him more revenue than previously. In short, he was a richer, happier man. As the story shows, a smile can go a long way. If someone we've just met smiles at us, we tend to automatically like them. The smile of a baby, for instance, immediately makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside, as does seeing a dog wagging its tail out of sheer delight at seeing us. So if you want to make yourself instantly likable to someone, show them that you are happy to see them by smiling. When they see how happy you are to meet them, they can't help but be happy to see you too. Chapter 3, Remember that a person's name is the sweetest and most important sound in any language. A name is a person's identity. It makes them unique among all others. This is the principle I always ignored before. Whenever I met someone new, I would hear his name and after 5 seconds forget it. And later on, when I needed his name, I would always excuse myself by saying, "I'm so sorry, I'm so bad with names. Could you please repeat your name again?" After reading the book, I noticed that this was a huge mistake. When you remember another person's name, it shows that you really listened and cared when you were talking. Using names reduces the barrier and makes other people feel closer to you. These days, when I meet someone, I really pay attention to the first few seconds when they mention their names. And instead of just saying, "Nice to meet you," I always say, "Nice to meet you, Tom." By repeating the name, I remember it better, plus it makes the other person feel connected to me. So next time when you go to the gym or somewhere else, instead of saying, "Hi, how are you today?" say, "Hi, Tom, how are you today?" You'll start seeing the difference. Saying the name is a subtle and welcome compliment. Forgetting it or misspelling it is a crippling mistake that suggests you don't care enough to get it right. People pay loads of money to have their names remembered after they die, naming buildings, having parks dedicated to their name, etc. A business person who can't remember the names of his important clients is simply saying that he doesn't care about a big portion of his business. Carnegie wanted to merge with a car company called Pullman. When Carnegie mentioned that the new company would still be called Pullman, Pullman became far more eager. If you are having difficulties remembering the names, then make sure you catch it when it comes up the first time in a conversation and ask for it to be repeated or even spelled out if needed. Then repeat it back to the person multiple times during the conversation. Finally, when you are alone, make some type of connection to remember it better. Chapter 4, Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. A person's life is the most important thing for that person. A person's headache means more to them than a famine that kills 1 million people. Allowing someone to talk makes that person feel important and flattered. Everyone has gone through what they feel to be tough times, and they like to talk about them if they've overcome them. Ask about this. Even better, combine this with another tip, which was giving sincere appreciation and praise. Tell them how fascinating their stories are and how you wished you had their knowledge or experience. When having a conversation, most people are so preoccupied with what they themselves want to say next that they barely listen to the other person at all. Truly listening means making a conscious effort to give the other person your full attention. And the benefits of this approach are substantial. Once, the author attended a dinner party in New York where he met a botanist. Having never met one before, the author listened to him for hours, riveted by the descriptions of exotic plants and experiments. Later, the botanist remarked to the host what an interesting conversationalist the author was. But the thing is, the author barely said anything at all. He had merely been a good, interested listener. Before reading the book, I never paid attention to this principle. Whenever I was talking to someone, I was always waiting for the person to finish talking so that I could change the topic to my interest areas. Or while the person was talking, I was constantly thinking about the things I would say once the person finished. And when that person was done, I would unload the information that I thought was interesting. Chapter 5. Talk in terms of the other person's interest. Using an earlier analogy, why fish with cheesecake? Fish with the bait that the fish wants. People are usually far more enthusiastic about topics they care about than ones only you care about. Before meeting someone, research their interests thoroughly so you have a working knowledge of the field. Identify someone's major goals, then talk about how you'll help them get closer to their goals. For example, my goal with this YouTube channel is to reach 15,000 subscribers in the next 4 months. And in order to hit that target, if I come up to you and say, "Guys, please subscribe to my channel because I have a target to reach," then you probably wouldn't care. That doesn't mean anything to you at all. But instead, if I can give you some useful information with this video, add some positive value to your life, and only after that ask you to subscribe, and open the notification bell in order to benefit from my future videos, then there's a bigger chance that you would do it. Because if you are watching this video, I'm assuming that you are interested in your personal growth, and seeing my future videos might be interesting for you. As you can see, I didn't even mention my target, I was talking about the benefits you will get. Chapter 6. Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. Almost all the people you meet feel superior to you in some way. Let them realize, in some subtle way, that you realize their importance. Inversely, avoid doing things that demean the other person and make them feel small or unimportant. Give praise without wanting anything from them, merely to radiate happiness and lift them up. This principle is a kind of recap of previous principles, so I won't spend too much time on it. Congratulations on reaching the end of part 2 of our comprehensive series on Dale Carnegie's timeless masterpiece, How to Win Friends and Influence People. We've covered some incredible insights so far. Chapter 1, Become genuinely interested in other people. Chapter 2, Smile. Chapter 3, Remember that a person's name. Chapter 4, Be a good listener. Chapter 5, Talk in terms of the other person's interest. Chapter 6, Make the other person feel important, and do it sincerely. As we move closer to the final parts, remember that these principles are not only tools for success in your personal and professional life, but also a pathway to becoming a more compassionate and understanding individual. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, so you won't miss the upcoming parts where we'll unravel even more of Carnegie's profound wisdom. Thank you for being part of this transformative journey, and I look forward to exploring the remaining chapters with you. Together, let's continue to elevate our interpersonal skills and create a world where empathy and influence go hand in hand. See you in part 3.